Hey folks, Scott here, Rogue Cinemas. If you ever wondered what AVR can rock out for the best value while sounding super smooth and maybe musical, that term, well, we've got it right here. And I know a lot of people are reviewing the new Marantz range and absolutely loving it. And it's a brand actually we've been dealing with since about 2008, as Marantz has always created a little bit higher current amplifier design. They have this HDAM, hyper dynamic amplifier module technology, which ultimately means it's got a little bit like more torque in an engine. It has a little bit more drive to it, which makes it quite different to its sibling, Denon these days, which are owned by the same group. So since Denon Marantz been owned by the same group, they were starting to see a little bit more separation between the brands. So Denon's delivering us a little bit more value for money per watt, while Marantz is delivering a little bit more fullness and sweetness and clarity and quality and build quality for a little bit more money. So starting to delineate, and we're starting to see those results big time in this new series. So this is the Marantz Cinema 50. And actually in this new series, quite a few changes. Of course, the beautiful facelift. They've got the new design, which was first created in the 2-channel range, much like the revamp back in about 2010-ish, where the 2-channel range changed style, and then the AVRs followed a year or so after that. Marantz has definitely been top of the game, I think, in the fashion awards. So we've got the facelift up the front, but there's a few other changes happening as well. So we now have a solid metal style chassis inside these, with the Denon's going to be a little bit more plastic, and we're starting to see things out of the box. So we've got the nice box with the nice laid out packaging, just the nice stuff that the more premium brands tend to do. Quick start guide, which is actually really thick, so I'm guessing a lot of languages. Bit more information about the HEOS format, which is their streaming technology. Though ultimately, as I said at the start, what AVR, what home cinema surround sound system, could be proving best value for us today. This is what this unit's all about, home cinema sound. I'm loving this new remote control, way neater, cleaner. It looks like these brands are starting to learn a little bit from the likes of Apple with tidying up their act when it comes to control. A few antennas there for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So the Cinema 50 is effectively the new model of what was the SR series 6. So the 6 series amplifier. There was a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7. And this replaced what the SR6 always was in the past. Very different from back in 2009 when there were maybe 7 channels of amplifier. Let's check out this thing from behind. So loads more speaker terminals than there are actually amplifiers, because they can matrix out and decide where the sound actually is delivered from which output. So essentially these 9 channels of amplification on board here. So in a home cinema, probably the best way of utilizing that would be 5 channels on the base layer, which is where your traditional 5.1 always was, and then add 4 channels for the Dolby Atmos. So it gives you 5 along the base, 4 on top. There's your 9 channels used up. And then of course these the subwoofers, which this will process and send the signal out to. Talking about processing, is actually enough outputs to run the full 7.4. So indeed, you can run pre-outs from this and run a couple of extra amplifiers and run the 7-channel base layout while also powering up the Atmos overhead. Now let's talk about subwoofers. 7.1.4 is the technical main Atmos format that comes in from Apple TV, Netflix, and on almost every Blu-ray. Though the Denon and Marantz series have both gone with, would you believe it, 4 independent subwoofer outputs. So this means that yes, the soundtrack from the movies, which is the 0.1, the LFE, the low frequency effects, that is a single soundtrack, and that of course you would expect to be delivered out of all 4 of the subs. Though any speakers in the system that can't play low deep bass, which is almost every single speaker in a home theater system other than the subwoofers, will cross over So the sound going to the center channel, but the center can't go deep enough, so that will cross over and that bass information will be delivered to the subwoofer channel or channels. So the Marantz here can actually output to not just all 4 subs. We can control maybe EQ, we can control timing. Based on where the subwoofer is in the room, controlling these factors will change the way it responds in the room to the primary listening position. So it gives us great control as a calibrator to dial in that 0.1 soundtrack. But they go an extra step than that. You may actually associate, say with 4 subs, I think the logical thing to do would be 2 front subs in the corner, 2 back subs in the corner. You get heaps of power, you get great distribution. So the Marantz here can actually say for the front left speaker, deliver the front left speaker bass to the front left subwoofer, what we call sort of bass steering. Now, the jury's out, let's say, as to maybe how that would work out, because when you deliver bass to a single subwoofer, you no longer have the other subwoofers pushing and pulling against that to create a smoother, fuller, more balanced sound. So really mixing all of the sound into all of the subs, having them running all the time for all the bass support, usually would give actually the better response versus loading up a single sub, banging out of the room, bouncing, reflecting around the room, and potentially causing the nulls and the peaks and the chaos which is bass in a small room. So I'm not so sure the too many rooms are going to fully take advantage of that, though to have 4 sub outs independent means we can certainly manage and control and sum those subwoofers beautifully. Power on board this, 110 watts times 9. Realistically, that 110 is measured with 2 amplifiers running at any given time at a very low distortion and at a full frequency range. The Marantz does offer a 70% guarantee. So what does that mean? It means that when all the amplifiers are running, you'll achieve at least 70% of that power rating. So that is around 75 watts or so of power, all channels running. That's pretty awesome. So there's a decent power supply in this, and a big change from the smaller models is a more significant heatsink that I can see through here. Big block of alloy. We're putting more power out, we need to remove more heat. It is a Class AB design still. Bigger power supply, bigger heat sinks, metal chassis. This really is a bit of a gem in the Marantz range and very, very affordable. In Aussie dollars, we're looking at $3,700, which is really not a whole lot of money to spend when really the AVR is the brains and it's the brawn of the sound system. So absolutely love what they're doing here. We'll be plumbing this one in tonight, and we'll be pairing it up with the Ascendo speakers, which those that have tuned in know that we absolutely love these. These are the little 5Ps, which we are running as our surround channels, but this time we're going to run the 5Ps as LCRs. So we're going to have all 3 of these guys hooked up behind the screen. The screen's so big there's nowhere else to put them, sharing some space with the other speakers, and we're going to hear the performance of the Marantz driving 5Ps in 5 channels around the room with the amazing Ascendo SAV12 subwoofers, 12-inch active subs. We're going to run a 5.2 channel system, which to me is a perfect way to starting off a sound system. It's the essential channel count to give you really solid, clear impact, because you can put the money into where it counts. You can get a decent AVR. You can get some high quality speakers. You can get speakers that are perfectly matched around the room. You can get some good subs. Now, of course, we love Dolby Atmos, and it means that you can indeed upgrade from that 5.2 setup and run 4 more Atmos off this AVR without needing anything else. So a lot of flexibility. For those that stick to the base layer, this amp will indeed run 7 channels base layer, no problems at all. You can still run a couple of Atmos, and then to finish it off, run a little power amp, and you're running the full Atmos format. It chokes me up because, I mean, these things are beautiful. 10 years ago, we didn't come close to this technology. We had amazing power, some real crafty, beautiful sonics, and we're going to go with really getting a beautiful focused sound around the room with a smaller but higher quality speaker, and let the subwoofers do the work. All right, I'm recently back from the US. That trip killed me. I'm just feeling better today. But now I'm knackered. I'm going to sign off. We're going to get this thing set up. We'll report on how that goes. And yes, I will have some more reports on my take on CEDIA 2023. How did those massive home cinema rooms go? Some stunning products and some interesting changes in the industry ahead. So I'll share more. For now, we're banging out the lives. We're coming at you. Thanks for tuning in. And if you've got any questions, new ideas, and want some guidance, throw it down in the comments. Remember to subscribe, and we'll catch you soon.